Oh my goodness. Padres, Angels, terrible time. Dodgers, right back where most people expected the Dodgers to be. Padres, they've lost four in a row. They've lost five of their last six. The Phillies come into the yard, hit 9 home runs in 3 games. Hard statistic to understand. The Padres are 6-11 at Petco Park this season. Michael King, if it's not walks, it's hits. If it's not hits, it's home run balls. He's given up the most home runs of anybody in Major League Baseball, John. He's given up 10 bombs already this season. And of course, he got smoked over the weekend by the Philadelphia Phillies. In 36 innings, Michael King, 10 home runs, 53 guys on base in 36 innings. He's had a couple of good starts, and then he's had just some typical really bad starts. You got that issue. Yu Darvish has thrown one bullpen to test the neck ailment. No decision yet whether he gets the ball Tuesday, whether he gets the ball Thursday, whether he stays on the disabled list. And then there's Joe Musgrove. 4 bad starts in the 7 outings this season. In the 16 innings through those 4 bad starts, Joe Musgrove has given up 6 home runs, has given up 36 guys on base. He's got an ERA of 11.25. There's something not right with Joe Musgrove. He says it's not physical. Maybe he just needs an extra day's rest between starts to aid in his recovery. And then there's Philadelphia. They've won 10 of their last 12 in 29 games this season. The Phillies have hit 37 home runs in 29 games this season. So that's my summary of where Padre baseball is. Suddenly, pitching seems to be a problem again. And John Riley says,
I'm wondering about Michael King, because when we got him in the trade, everyone's like, hey, this guy would be a number 3 starter. Well, now he's a number 4 since we got Cease. But they're teeing off on him. I wonder if the Yankee fans are like, yeah, good riddance. We snaked you on that deal for Juan Soto. I mean, what's your take?
Well, each of the 10 home runs has come on a fastball that he's put right down the middle. So movement has become a problem. His fastball's only been at 94 miles an hour. I didn't realize how many walks were involved with his pitching repertoire when he throws. There's bulldog in him. There's no doubt that he competes out there on the mound, but he's getting lit. He's getting lit a lot. Now, I said way back when the trade was made with Soto, did they get the right pitchers in the deal? Because the pitcher I wanted was Clark Schmidt. I knew about Michael King. Padres could not get access to Schmidt. They elected to take King because of velocity and tenacity and some of those intangible things. But man, to give up 10 home runs already, I mean, that's like a pace for 45. That's Lance Lynn numbers. So there's an issue there. I don't know what to make of Musgrove. He says he's not having issues with the shoulder. He shows flashes of velocity, but his location is all over the place. The fact that he's had to get away from that hard slider to adopt something different, that something different has just he's not been able to locate it. And he is really scuffling. I mean, those 4 bad starts, 11.75 ERA, that's not vintage Joe Musgrove. So they got some issues there. Okay, we go from that. Let's talk about the Dodgers. The Dodgers have won 6 of 7, and they're hitting the hell out of the ball. Despite the pitching woes, the Dodgers are doing really well. But there's always a but. There's now another issue with Walker Buehler. He's gone through 4 rehab starts, and they wanted him to go from A to AA up to AAA in the rehab starts. His last start in Albuquerque, he lasted only 4 innings, 5 runs, 7 hits, struggled with his location, 86 pitches along the way. I don't know that he's ready to rejoin the Dodgers. The Dodgers don't know when he's ready to pitch at the major league level. His velocity seems to be down again. So this is a real iffy proposition. He, of course, is one of 9 Dodger pitchers on the disabled list.
Walker Buehler. I mean, we're going to see this guy soon. I always thought he was a great pitcher, but it just goes to show you this epidemic of elbow injuries all across the league.
And his second surgery in his career.
So what about the other guys in the Dodgers, like Dustin May? Are we getting any updates on him?
He's not doing anything except long toss and weight work. He's not quote been back on the mound yet. So they were thinking June 1. I don't know if there's been a delay there. Kershaw has always been August 1st that we know. There is no Tony Gonsolin. He's gone for the year with the knee replacement ligament issue. They think that Blake Trinan is close to coming off the disabled list, but they just got so many guys on the disabled list, and at this point, they've kind of drained everybody out of Oklahoma City, and they just moved one of their young pitchers to the 60-day DL. So they're a little bit wafer thin right now because they don't have anything left at AAA to bring up, and the young kids, the Gavin Stones of the world that they're forcing out there, they're having as many bad innings as they're having good innings. And Bobby Miller is still on the disabled list too with the inflammation in his shoulder. So suddenly the Dodgers, despite the payroll and with their great bats, they're going to have to outslug people, I think, to win a pile of games.
What about our guy Gratterall? Remember Gratterall comes off the mound like this. He's like always firing up and sticking Manny. He's hurt too, right?
Yeah, he's on the DL. He's coming off right now doing this. Pray that I can get better. He just had a setback about a week ago.
Right.
And they shut him down for a second time since spring training. I think he's got a lat issue in the back of the shoulder, and those things don't heal by next week. So Dodgers are really struggling. Speaking of the word struggling, disastrous homestand for the Angels. They're now the team that Artie Moreno and John Carpino sanctioned to put on the field. The team their general manager signed all those one-year refugee free agents.
Yeah.
3-9 at Anaheim Stadium.
Ooh.
Attendance is down more than a third to the start of this season. And they got killed by Minnesota. They got bombed by Minnesota. They got outscored 38-12 in 3 games by Minnesota.
Minnesota.
The Angels starting rotation is in a state of collapse right now. Outside of Reed Detmers, nobody's getting anybody out. And if that's not enough, your guy, Anthony Rendon, now he's got a torn hamstring. He's on the DL for a long period of time. 4th year in a row, he's had a major, major injury. Angel baseball's just a disaster.
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, and Rendon is a disgrace. I mean, everything that guy has been through, and now another injury. He's hijacked and jinxed as well. Do you ever see a scenario where the Trout could get traded from Anaheim?
Well, if he stood up and said, enough is enough, I've given you everything, it has not worked, I'm going to give you the opportunity to trade me to a select city, and maybe you can rebuild this with a group of young players you might get back. At that point, no. He just said 2 weeks ago he did his second pledge of allegiance, wanting to stay with Angel baseball, but they just don't have any players right now. And they're pitching. Their starting rotation, aside from Reed Detmers, who's become a legitimate number 1, starting rotation is just a disaster. And now with Rendon hurt, you got Trout, who they can pitch around and then force feed all the other young bats in the batting order, and those guys aren't hitting very well. So this Angel situation is just disastrous. But at this point, no. Trout has not indicated, I want out. If this losing continues at the rate they're losing, maybe he'll say, I've changed my mind. I'm going to try to help you get better. Next baseball